The 664th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up today using promo code MMA SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 664 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This one's going up to Kevin Vallejos, the star, in my eyes, of last week's Contender Series, or I guess this week's technically.
Samurai Fight.
Samurai Fight House in the house, week 7. So yeah, he looked really good and got himself a contract. So you didn't have to look very good to get yourself a contract, though. This past week's episode. We'll talk about that soon enough. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Taco Fox. This is if you haven't guessed yet, Contender Series episode. I'm assuming you guess. I'm assuming you look at the titles of things before you actually click on them. But this is Contender Series Week 8. We're getting an early jump on it as per usual. Friday jump, so no odds yet. But hopefully our Contender Series guru Gumby will know. I'm thinking about getting him replaced though with that Yanni guy, because I think Yanni's
been hot. You know, it takes a little bit of biting our tongue here, but he's been hot, especially with the totals. Big on the totals, and he had another
loves
good night.
Totals.
Yeah, and like, hey, if that's your thing, that's your thing. Get in on your thing. And you know, I mean, everybody in the Discord likes a sloppy fatties over, but he likes it over for just about anything. And I gotta say, one of the big takeaways from this last week, which we did hit an underdog. We hit Alexia Thainara when she was still an underdog. Wound up going 2-3, not exactly what we were looking for.
She's the wild one.
Yeah, she's fun.
She seemed to get less wild as the fight went on, though.
I mean, I think she got tired. You know, that was a tough pace to keep up. And Conseao is, you know, she's no joke either.
Yeah.
So like for me, you know, we had a decent night at 2-3, but my big takeaway was it seems like people who should obviously wrestle aren't wrestling at this stage in the Contender Series.
Yeah.
And I think it's something we got to start taking more deeply into the handicap, because there's no way Coetzee shouldn't have shot takedowns 5 seconds into that fight. He didn't have the gas tank to do anything else. And then instead he threw haymakers nonstop. And like, yeah, maybe he almost knocked out Frunza, but like that's just not a reasonable game plan. And then Bailey Schoenfelder, a guy who went in and grappled Greg Velasco and had a decent time doing that and has gotten tons of takedowns, for some reason thought he should kickbox a much taller, younger Ukrainian kickboxer. And that to me is just insane. So I think that game planning piece, we do have to take into account starting pretty much right now.
Yeah, we used to talk about it, but it seemed to be...
It seemed like it went away for
because Dana was giving contracts to everyone, I think.
Do we want to just blame what he did to Torrez Finney the first time? Because, like, you know, you can say what you want about him passing on Torrez Finney the second time, and we're about to talk about Torrez Finney for the third time. But when he passed on him the second time, you're like, okay, well, yeah, that fight wasn't terribly exciting and all that kind of... His first fight, he picked a dude up, dropped him on his head, and choked him out. And it was an undefeated fighter who with a wrestling background or a Sambo background. So, like, that was a really exciting win, and Dana was like, I don't know. I'd like to see him strike for it. And so, like, he did that to Torrez Finney, and maybe that was the turning point. Maybe that was the point where we were like, you know, guys are getting passed on with their wrestling skills.
Guys are not getting passed on last night. What was the guy's name? He looked horrible.
Kevin Christien.
Yes, looked horrible. Was on the defensive the whole fight, and then
for 7 minutes.
And then caught a submission. That's so not Dana, though. Really, right?
Well, he blamed. I don't know if you caught because you
I didn't. I usually do, but I didn't this time.
He blamed it on Mick Maynard. He said Mick Maynard likes this guy.
He looked horrible.
I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would like that guy.
I'm not just being salty because we were on the other side of that fight, but no,
he fought a dude who was 4-0, and
he looked bad.
4-0 dude was taking it to him.
Yes, and he lucked into a submission. I know you don't luck into these things, but that the guy he fought, his coaches were like, okay, you can get up now. Kept hint, don't grapple with this guy, but yeah, he didn't want to listen. Nope. All right, before we move on, one thing you should listen to: Doug Stanhope, Brendan Walsh, and Sean Green. They host the newest podcast on SGPN, Get to the Points, every Thursday before the game, aka NFL game. Doug, Brendan, and Sean give out their favorite plays and talk a ton of shit. Doug and Brendan are professional comedians. You may know them from the Joe Rogan podcast, the Howard Stern Show, and Comedy Central. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and of course, YouTube. Smash subscribe for them as well. All right, Contender Series, of course, is the Tuesday night thing, which we enjoy. October the 1st, a day before someone important's birthday, Gumby. Keep that in mind, okay? I get to work on my birthday. Can't wait. Record with Gumby on my birthday. Anyhow, Tuesday, October the 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern is the start time. 5 fights in the octagon, and we're starting things off with I usually ask you for an overview. Anyone we are excited about this week?
Sort of. I don't know. I feel hesitant to be excited about anybody after what Cootsie did to me. So I'm no longer excited for anybody ever again.
Okay, how about his heart has been broken, it will not heal. How about last week, week 7? Who are we excited about coming off of that? Vallejos?
Vallejos and Thainara, not just because they were my 2 picks, but they were the only ones who looked really good. Even Voivodkin, because he won in a minute. Like he looks like a guy who I'm getting ready to fade next time.
Yes,
he's in a UFC fight. He fights a light heavyweight with any takedowns. I think he's in a world of hurt.
I don't know if it was Crunch, but someone said in the Discord, the DWCS fade is a real thing. It's true. You got to fade some of these people coming off Contender Series. All right. We'll see if any of these people interest Gumby. Maybe not during the breakdowns, but maybe after he sees some fight. Maybe a Canadian, Christien Savoie. He is fighting against Jacobe Smith, and this is a 3-5 round, 170 pounds. Christien Savoie. I take it is how you say it because it's a French-based name. He's from New Brunswick, though, not from Quebec. Okay, here's a trivia question for you, Gumby. Which province in Ontario is the only province that officially is multilingual? They are bilingual. They have 2 languages, official languages.
Quebec's not a province, but I know it's Quebec. Oh, is it? Then it's Quebec, right?
No, that's the trick. French is the only official language in Quebec.
Oh, really?
New Brunswick, English and French are the official languges. So there you go.
There you go. Now you're learning things, guys.
You are, because I just went through New Brunswick, and the one border town we stayed in New Brunswick, the town across the border in the States is 90% French. Nice. Crazy, eh?
That's fun.
You would never think a city in the States is predominantly French, but apparently it is. So there you go. You've learned things, people. All right, Christien Savoie. How do you say his name, Gumby? Do you know?
I think it's Savoie.
Savoie, boring. He's from New Brunswick. He's fighting Jacobe Smith from the United States of America. 3-5 rounds, 170 pounds. What do you think Quebec was? Oh, they always want to leave us. Is that why you're thinking they're not a province?
Yeah.
Yeah, they always want to break out on their own.
I thought it was the city is that, and for some reason I thought the province was something else. But
no, they're still ours. We haven't given them up yet.
Geography, so.
That's all right. Smith 8-0, 6 knockouts, 2 straight wins via TKO. Used to fight at middleweight. 4 years younger than Savoie. Savoie. That's right. 3 inches. 3 inches taller. You know someone with a name kind of like that too, right?
I do.
A bunch of people.
A couple people.
Yeah. Are they French too?
No idea.
No. That's great. This is funny. For long-time listeners, we'll find this funny. I'm sure. If they've been keeping notes. Tiger. Because all our nicknames up here in Canada are Tiger. 10-1-1 with 7 knockouts. He's been submitted 1 time. He's won 2 straight and gone 2-0-1 over his last 3. Both of those past 2 wins have come via TKO. So both guys are on 2 straight TKO streaks. He has not lost since November the 20th. Multi-regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky with it. The only time I will say it this episode. Sorry for fans of that. Get the shirt though. You can say it all the time. People will read it off your shirt. And Tiger used to fight at middleweight. Tiger's easier to say. Go ahead, Gumby. No odds. All yours now.
I think Jacobe Smith's going to be a big favorite here. I'm guessing in the -350 range for a couple of reasons. Number one, Oklahoma State wrestler. Obviously that's a feather in his cap. The undefeated record doesn't hurt either. Training at Fortis MMA with being a high-level D1 wrestler also doesn't hurt. And it's funny because you think Fortis MMA, you think guys who can mix their grappling in real well. You think Oklahoma State wrestlers, you think of really good wrestlers, obviously. And the craziest thing is he hasn't had to wrestle in his last 2 fights because he's going out there and putting people out with insane power. Both of his last 2 knockouts look almost identical. He slumps the dude with the right hand. They both fall forward on their own face. Like they're both like very vicious, both up against the cage. I really love his footwork, his pressure. You don't often see a guy who comes from a wrestling background so comfortable on his feet that he switches stances for his own good. Not to set anything up. Like he just switched. He's a switch stance guy, and he's just looked phenomenal on the feet. And then you look at Savoie, who's got he's got his own power in his hands and thinks he does good, but like he gave up a takedown in his last fight, and I was like, oh man, that like he had stunned the guy he was fighting. The guy still scored a takedown. It was like a 4-0 guy without a wrestling background who, that to me shows that like Jacobe Smith can get him there. And then in addition to that too, he just backs up too much. And that's what Smith wants to do with that footwork. That's why his footwork is the way it is, because when he has you up against the cage, and you can ask his last 2 opponents, he flatlines people. So I like Jacobe Smith here. If it does come in at that like ridiculously high -350, like I think, I'm probably looking for an under and a KO prop here because he's been getting work done quick.
All right. What is a playable line?
I mean, I think -350 is playable if you're going to like throw it in a parlay. I'm not like a run out there and get a -350 line on the money line. So if you're mixing it up with other things, that's cool. But otherwise, like I said, I kind of like the under here. He's been getting it done quick, and I kind of like the KO prop too.
So Yanni's going to like the over then, right? More than likely,
he might owe us rounds.
Well, hey, we did get asked to do some over and under, so there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to mix it in. Whoever asked that in the comments, this is for you, bud.
Yeah, and I told you we'd have to hire Yanni if you want us to really do good in that. So, all right, Gumby is fading the Canadian. No surprise there. This is a light heavyweight fight. Next, Diyar Nurgozhay. Kazakhstan. Nurgozhay. See, I'm making it harder than it is. He's from Kazakhstan. Bartosz. Oh, good. A Polish name. Bartosz
Szewczyk.
Szewczyk, right? SZ is Szewczyk. Bartosz Szewczyk. Is that what it is? Szewczyk.
I'm pretty sure. Again, if you're good at Polish pronunciation, hit me up in the comments and tell me I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Szewczyk.
So your footwear, like if your footwear caught the flu. Right?
Yes. Szewczyk.
Okay, Szewczyk. And thank you for person in the comments who told us KSW title fights are only 3 rounds. So we learned.
Ryzen title fights.
Ryzen, excuse me. Yes,
yeah.
We learned.
Thank you. Yeah, we love when you guys correct us. Honestly, like I know that's like silly, but like
how are we going to learn if you don't?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So we know this guy sounds like he's got sick footwear. Szewczyk is 8-2-1, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted once, 3-0 over his last 3. Obviously, 3-1 over his last 4. All of those wins have come via TKO. Regional champion. Used to fight up at heavyweight. 4 years younger than Nurgozhay, right? Nurgozhay. Yeah. 4 years younger, 2 inches of height. You don't sound very sure yourself. Nurgozhay. Well, we'll see what Daniel Cormier says. He's 9-0 with 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been won his last fight via TKO. Was a regional champion. Used to fight at middleweight. Was Cormier up to his old tricks last night? I don't think I was listening to the same.
He said something really dumb that pissed me off, but I can't remember what it was anymore. Nurgozhay is going to be a favorite here. I'm guessing in the like -250 range. Szewczyk probably like +220. I am gonna. This is one of those ones where I'm like, if he's a big dog, I'm into Szewczyk. If he's not a big dog, I'm probably just gonna pass on this one. There's just like too many variables that I don't know the answer to. And the big one being is that Bartosz Szewczyk, I don't know if he can defend a takedown. I'd like to think he can, but I can't really find any good footage of him defending a takedown. Nurgozhay, like, I'm not really sold on his wrestling, which is part of why I kind of think Szewczyk can stuff it. He fought Emiliano Sordi in his last fight, who you might remember from PFL, and I want to say he fought Bellator too. Emiliano Sordi did. And he got in on a takedown, and just like Sordi just kind of stuffed it super easy. And I was like, is this wrestling all that good? And then he wound up beating Sordi by TKO, as you kind of mentioned at the top, but it was just like Sordi gave up. He like stopped moving at the point, and didn't even look like he was hurt. He was just tired. And so like Nurgozhay is like kind of quick with his hands, but I really like the jab from Szewczyk. He leans away a little bit too much for my liking, which is another, kind of no, but I do like his jab. I think he's quicker. I like the way he throws kicks out there. Yeah, I'd like his gas tank, for a guy in Nurgozhay who might fail on a few takedowns. I think the gas tank could hold up for Szewczyk. Nurgozhay slowed a little bit as he got deep into that fight with Sordy. Granted, not as much as Sordy did. So I think an underdog play on Szewczyk makes sense, but if it's not a big old fat one where you can just dabble a little bit and get in on it, I think I just probably pass on this one. There's too many variables for it for me.
All right. Szewczyk is it. So what is the range? What is the playable line?
If he's in the mid to high 200s, I'm sitting on it probably and seeing if it goes higher and seeing if there's any noise there, because it does look like the favorites get a lot of play unless the line's going to flip flop. And I don't think the line's going to flip flop here. You guys got an Uzbek fighter here. The money comes in on guys from that region. So I would hope it goes up a little bit. If it's in the 3s, I'm probably playing it. That's the size dog here. I would take a stab on him having enough takedown defense to win this fight.
All right. Excellent. And you led right perfectly to Underdog Fantasy again. You took a dog, and here we go. Underdog Fantasy, 2 episodes in a row. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em is always adding to their awesome menu. They now have first touchdown projections. There are tons of ways to win with NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, and more. The lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Gumby, anything for us?
Sure. I like Sam Darnold has been having a surprisingly good year. On Sunday, we got his passing yards listed at 226.5. I'm going to take the higher than on that. I like his chances to light up the D-backs here.
All right. Sign up with our code MMA SGPN, and then you get to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And on to bantamweights. David Martinez from Mexico, Xavier Franklin from United States of America, 3 5-minute rounds, 135 pounds. Mr. Benjamin Franklin is the nickname. I approve. 5-0 with 1 no contest, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's won 5 straight, including his last fight via TKO. Was regional champion, an inch of height over Martinez. Black Spartan Martinez, 10-1 with 9 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. He's won 6 straight, 4 straight via finish. Has not lost since April 2021. Regional champion.
David Martinez is going to be a massive favorite here. You mentioned regional champion. He was the Kombache champion. Looked like he was the face of the organization, and then basically did everything in his power to get out of his contract.
It worked.
And it worked. And now he's here on Contender Series. I think he's the real deal from everything I've seen. Very quick with the hands. When he hits you with a leg kick, you're gonna feel it for weeks. I think for me the biggest piece in this fight and why I like him more than Franklin is Franklin looks technically proficient when he's on the feet in terms of striking. I don't think either of these guys are gonna wrestle. If they do, it's probably Martinez. But again, with that wrestling bias, we probably won't see any wrestling at all. Franklin looks good on the feet, except for while he gets good extension on his strikes and they look like they're supposed to look, it always just seems like the range is wrong on him. And I don't even necessarily mean that he's too far away all the time. Sometimes he's too close and it looks like the extension on the punches almost goes past his opponent.
Yeah.
He has a trouble with closing distance almost too much. Which then makes it really easy for Martinez here to counter, or Martinez is just going to rip his legs apart. Again, when Martinez hits a low leg kick, you're going to feel that low leg kick. So I like David Martinez here. I think he's probably going to be a massive favorite. I don't know what I said at the beginning, but
I don't think you did.
A negative 325, maybe something in that range. And he seems like the type of guy who's going to get that up closer and closer to fight time.
I never miss it when you give an odds out. So
you haven't ever once missed that.
Yeah. And I will not feel his leg kick because I will not let him leg kick me, Gumby. So I will not be feeling it.
You might not have a choice.
It's true. It's true. You may not have a choice. Very good. Very good point. All right. Co-main event. They don't call that. We're going to call it co-main event. Abdellah Er-Ramy. Where is he from?
Spain.
Africa? Spain? Oh, he's from Spain. You're correct. I should know the Spanish flag, but hey, Torrez Finney. That kind of sounds Spanish. He is from the United States of America. 3 5-minute rounds, 185 pounds. Perhaps you've heard of Finney. We've talked about it a bunch of times. He's the Punisher. Dana White's punishing him here. 9-0, 6 knockouts, 1 submission. Taking this fight on short notice. He's gone 2-0 on Contender Series. Still no contract. Dana, it's really strange. Even outside of Contender Series, it's strange. The people they decide, we're not gonna assign you. We're gonna sign these garbage people instead.
Kevin Christien.
Yeah, it's weird.
He would do nasty things to Kevin Christien.
Yeah, it's strange. Like even like Danny McCormick probably should be in the UFC, and it's been like they'll just they pick weird hills to die on. Anyhow, he used to fight at heavyweight, which is crazy because he's a tiny guy, short guy.
5'8".
Yep. 2 years. He's Daniel Cormier, 2 years younger than Er-Ramy. Daniel Cormier minus the flap. Er-Ramy, the Golden Boy, 7-1 with 5 knockouts. He's been knocked out once. He's won 6 straight, 2 straight via finish. He's not fought since March 2023. He's not lost since July 2019. 1-0 on PFL. Used to fight at light heavyweight, 4 inches of height over Finney. But everybody's taller than Finney.
Yeah, everybody's taller than Finney. This is where the wrestling's going to come into play for me. I think I'm going to fade Torrez Finney here. I think he's going to be a huge favorite. We've seen him win a couple of times. Obviously, he's a great wrestler. He's clearly got the stature that people are like want to see him win. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I really hope he does win. I'm a Torrez Finney fan. I like the guy personally even, but like if he chooses not to wrestle in this fight, if he chooses to try to win the contract the way that Dana wants him to win the contract, I think he's going to get beat. Er-Ramy is much sharper on the feet. He's so much faster. He's a guy who swarms particularly well. We talked about Ivan Erslan for this week's UFC Paris. Some of his striking sometimes reminds me of that. Not as powerful, not as quick. His takedown defenses looked bad in his last couple of fights, but they were also up at light heavyweight, which changes things. And also to the point I kind of made before, he got up in all of those fights. And Torrez is just like, I think he might not shoot a takedown. I think he might just throw hands the whole time. And also, like, even if he doesn't throw hands the whole time and he decides to wrestle at some point in time, is it going to be too late? Is it going to be after he's already taken a bunch of brutal shots on the feet and has started to tire? Because in his last fight, he tired. And it's not like he could have gone and changed a whole bunch of things, right? Like, that fight was, 4 weeks ago? Like, So, like, I don't think we're going to see these big improvements. I think we're going to see a guy who struggles a little bit with his cardio for this weight class. And if he chooses to wrestle just like a little bit too late, I think Er-Ramy is the type of guy who can take advantage of that. So give me Abdellah Er-Ramy. I don't love saying this, but I'm guessing, again, the dog money might just be too high to not go after. So I'll take Abdellah Er-Ramy plus 250, plus 275. Wouldn't surprise me.
He's going way out. He's going way out on some of these picks. Do you hear the muscle tires you out? I think might be Finney's problem.
I mean, like it's such
him,
like
it might be the
dumb,
case.
it's such a dumb Joe Rogan joke, but like also, is it like like also is it?
Especially a guy that wants to grind the whole fight, and he's got Dana White in his head. There's
also I think he tires himself out. Like in that last fight, yes, the grind wore him out, but I also think trying to throw harder than he usually does. I think. Not that wrestling doesn't tire you out, but doing something you're not familiar with tires you out worse, which is what I'm worried about in this fight. What if he tries to strike with Er-Ramy for 3.5 minutes and finds himself in a disadvantage and then's like, oh, maybe I'll wrestle now. And then Er-Ramy has already started to build momentum.
Yep. And Dana, as I said, Dana is, there's no way Dana can't be in his head at this point. And even the announcers at this point, I don't know if they've been told to do this, but they've really been hammering home. Well, these people aren't just fighting to win. They have to try to impress the boss and get a contract. So I don't know if that's
it's clearly in the air.
Yeah. It's been this whole season. They've been saying that. So, all right. Hopefully we get another big dog. Sorry, Trez Finney. Maybe you'll get a contract if you lose. It hasn't worked when you won. Maybe if you lose. It's happened before. It's happened before.
So funny.
If
that happened to Carlos Candelario won his fight, right? And then didn't get a contract, and then he lost his fight and did.
Right. It happened to our girl. What's her name?
Carly Giudice.
Yeah,
but she never won one and got passed on. She just lost and got picked up. Same with Angel Pacheco and then that other guy who is absolutely terrible.
Yes. It would have. Yeah, Finney probably would have been better off getting beaten up really bad in a fight than actually winning 2 fights.
He might get his wish here if he strikes the whole time.
Maybe. All right. Before we move on, BetUS. We're brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Check out all the MMA and UFC is MMA and UFC lines there. Support SGPN and get yourself access to another great book by signing up at BetUS. Use our link to sign up and get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/BetUS. Promo code SGPN so they know we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. And Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me. It really gives you predictions for every game and player prop, and also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Now on to our main event, and it is a hastily arranged fight at featherweight. Alberto Montes. He is from, is he Chile? No, Venezuela. Excuse me. Venezuela. Carlos Calderon from United States of America. 3 5-minute rounds if they need it. Featherweight Chief Calderon. 6-2 with 1 no contest, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been submitted once. He's taking this fight on short notice. A couple weeks, I think. Or maybe even no, maybe less than that. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Both of his past 2 wins have come via submission. That's all I got for him. The Promise Montes. 9-1, 1 knockout, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He's won 2 straight, both via submission. Boy, these guys are identical. Has not lost since December 2021. Used to fight at bantamweight, 2012 pro MMA debut.
The funny thing is if you did look at Tapology and you were Tapology captain, so to speak, they look identical, right? Like you've got very similar things. They could not be more different. So first of all, I think Montes favorite, but probably not wildly, because like you said, you look at Tapology, they look kind of similar, maybe like -165 or something and +140 for Calderon. I'm going to go with Montes here. And the reason why is if you watch Calderon, first of all, he got tagged bad in the first 20 seconds of his last fight. He rebounded and wrestled really well. Bottom line is I think on the feet, he just like isn't as technically sound on the feet. He swings kind of wildly, wants to get into a brawl. And then like, he's got good jiu-jitsu, like really good jiu-jitsu. I'm not super high in his wrestling, but I am super high in his jiu-jitsu. He was using like, he was in a top turtle position and he went for a truck and tried to use that to set up a twister, wound up with a rear naked choke and all of it. Like it was some really high level grappling stuff that like, if you don't know what a truck is, like that's just goes to show you the type of stuff he's out there using. Like he's using stuff that you don't typically see people use in MMA fights. And while that's all well and good, the thing about Montes is he is, first of all, going to be infinitely better in terms of the striking here. He has got some really fast kicks that he uses from all different levels. Like he's a low calf kick guy, but he's also like a push kick to the front, teep kind of guy. Spinning kicks, oblique kicks, like he's used it all. And, you mentioned his last 3 wins have all come by submission, right? And if you watch those, it's not because he's a grappler. It's not because he wants to be on the ground, but it's because he's really good at catching people when they try to shoot in and don't do so well. He's got it, it's like Doris chokes and anaconda chokes and basically front headlock positions. So like we've got a guy who's going to be infinitely better on the feet here. And when he does start punishing Calderon, I think Calderon's going to shoot. And if he gets lazy with that shot, I think Montes is going to get in on something. And even if he doesn't get lazy with it, like I think Montes can shuck it off and force him to strike. Plus, on top of all of that, there's all we've been talking about with the anti-wrestler bias here. Is there any chance Calderon just does go and try to brawl and like, sort of leaves his submission skills to the wayside? If he does do that, like he is going to be badly outmatched in this fight. So give me Alberto Montes, hopefully slight favorite. If he did get into the 2s, I'd probably still be using him now.
All right, there you go. You're set with winning picks. Let's recap for you. Montes, Er-Ramy, Martinez. They're the 2 big ones. Oh, actually, no. Szewczyk is a big one too. You have some big dogs here. And then Smith. Maybe. We don't know what the odds are for sure on these, but perhaps.
A couple of dogs, hopefully.
A couple of dogs. Yeah, Martinez is actually a big favorite. Sorry.
Should be a massive favorite.
Yep.
Probably the biggest favorite on the card.
When the odds drop, you can talk to us about it in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord, or YouTube in the comments, obviously, or on Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that. He's Gumby Vreeland. I'm Jeff Fox Writer. They are on Instagram. Check out my Substack. Enter my pick'em contest for tomorrow's UFC. That would be moneymma.substack.com. Check out Gumby's Top Turtle MMA podcast. Ray Longo is on it, and a woman whose name I forgot.
Leslie Hernandez. She's
Leslie Hernandez.
Contender Series.
Contender Series which week? Next week? No, not
I think she's
week
10, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. All right, so check it out. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some extra bonus content. We'll be back on Monday. Yes, because we do Monday to Friday now. What will we cover? A regional event. You'll have to wait and see. That is my promise, because I am the promise, Jeff Fox. The Golden Boy Gumby Vreeland will be there as well, and we'll talk to you then. Adios.